Hi, I'm going to talk a little bit about finger exercises on the piano, and these are necessary because you have to kind of train your fingers to do what you want them to do and not what they're just going to do. And so this helps to strengthen the muscles and the muscle memory and kind of make that contact between your brain and the fingers and how it feels on the keyboard. So what I do with beginners is I start with once they can do this, they can play just a 5-finger scale. Once they're able to do that, I begin teaching them some 5-finger patterns. And basically, you do one 5-finger pattern, and then you move up a step and do the pattern again, and then move up a step, and so on. I like to do one hand at a time at first. So I'll start with one that I use pretty often and have for years. Start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1 of the C 5-finger scale. So if you're playing from C to D, E, F, G, there's your 5-finger scale. So I do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1. I also like to have the students sing the pitches as they do this. C, D, E, F, G, E, C. That way they begin, especially the young ones, that way they begin to correlate what that note is on the piano. So it goes something like this. I usually just go up to the next octave. And then we do left hand. But we start with the thumb. It's the same pattern, so our hands are mirrors, so it's going to go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1. So it's going to go down. So you get the idea. And once they have grasped that, and maybe a few other 5-finger patterns, and you could kind of make those up if you want, if you're kind of teaching yourself, then I start having them try different articulations. By articulation, I mean staccato or legato, maybe some couplet slurs or maybe some accents. Staccato is one of the hardest things for a young student to learn at first. It's a different feeling, but the more they do it, the better they get at it, like anything else. So and so on, and with left hand. And so on. Once they have learned these 5-finger patterns where, you do the 5-finger pattern and move up a step, they begin learning Hanon exercises by the composer Charles Hanon. That these exercises have been used hundreds of years. Maybe not quite hundreds of years, but a long time. But the very youngest piano students are not quite ready for them. But once they have mastered several 5-finger patterns, and I can go into more of the 5-finger patterns later on, then they're ready for Hanon. Now Hanon gives you a continuous hand shift to get from one octave to the next. There's no stopping and then starting in the next 5-finger pattern. It's all one. So what happens is the Hanon 1, this is the first one. There are 60 in total, but this is the first one. Instead of doing, we do this. And what has happened is we took our first 2 fingers and skipped a key. So when you take your first 2 fingers and skip a key, go from C to E, then your hand comes back together and your thumb is resting on D, ready for the next the next pattern, so you don't have to stop. E, G, F, A. The other difference between this and the 5-finger patterns is that both hands are going the same direction. So this means the fingering is different in the left hand. You're starting with your 5th finger in the left hand, but the gap is between 5 and 4. So you're skipping from C to E with your 5th and 4th finger. So that your 5th finger is ready for the next shift. I start out with hands separately, and the hand-in exercises have an ascending and a descending for every exercise. So you saw me doing the ascending where I'm climbing up, and we get all the way up here. You can do 1 octave, maybe 2 octaves, depending on the student. But you get up to here, and then you turn around, and the gap is at the top. So then it's G, E, and the right hand is doing G, E, 5, 4. So this time the right hand is starting on 5, but the left hand is starting on 1, and the gap is between 1 and 2. So we do this. That's the descending. And the left hand between 1 and 2 from G to E, F, D, E, C, and we go back down to down here. And eventually they begin to do hands together. This is before, I generally start doing this before they learn full scales, at least the first couple of hand-in exercises, because full scales involve crossing fingers. So this is a good way for them to get some technical finger exercises in without having to learn something like crossing fingers that they haven't learned before. So then when we have hands together, and then coming back down. And then, once they have mastered the pattern and they can play a reasonable speed, I don't go for high speed just yet. Ultimately, it's going to be 120 beats per minute, maybe. Metronome 120, but not just yet. Then I start doing the different articulations like I did with the 5-finger ones. So you can do, and you can, you can do so many different things, but start off with staccato. A combination of legato, well, actually legato. Legato is it's smooth and connected. It's kind of hard to do at first, but it's pretty similar to what I've been doing. Never disconnecting. Then you can do a combination. Let's say, or the other way around. You can change the rhythm. You can do accents in different places. So, as the student progresses, you can get more and more complicated, and then you can actually change the key. All of hand-in exercises are written in the key of C, but if, say, you get to the point where you have learned the full G scale, which has an F sharp, you can actually play this hand-in exercise in G. Just, you have that F sharp in there. whole process over again regarding articulation and everything. So by the time you get through this, you know your piano quite well. You know the key you're playing in quite well. And you have some articulations you could apply to any music you're working on. So, happy handing.